Top 10 Craziest Laws in the World. There are a lot of supposedly crazy laws out there, but unfortunately many of these cannot be verified or have been proven to be nothing more than old wives' tales. Well, our team here at List Top 10 was curious, as usual, to discover the craziest verifiable laws on the books. Everything from restrictions on reincarnation to absurd traffic fines. After scouring the world, we proudly present you with the top 10 craziest laws we could find. Number 10. In Finland, traffic fines are calculated as a percentage of the offender's income. In January 2002, Anssi Vanjoki, 44, a director of the Finnish telecommunications giant, Nokia, received what is believed to be the most expensive speeding ticket ever, $12.5 million, for driving his Harley at 75 km per hour, 47 miles per hour, in a 50 km per hour, 31 miles per hour zone. Mr. Vanjoki appealed the fine because his reported income dropped significantly about 5 days after the incident. Because of the new data, the fine was dropped to $103,600, still the most expensive speeding fine in history. Number 9. The Canadian Currency Act. In Canada, the Currency Act of 1985 prohibits consumers from using unreasonable amounts of coins to pay for purchases. This means you can't pay for an item in all coins, especially if it's over $10. Even the use of dollar coins is limited. The shop owner has the right to choose whether or not he wants to take your coins but doesn't have to. Number 8. No sagging pants in Michigan. In 2008, Flint Chief of Police David Dix made headlines when he ordered his department to arrest anybody wearing saggy pants. Other cities like Riviera Beach, Florida, have tried to enforce similar laws only to have them declared unconstitutional by state courts. The law is still in effect in Flint, however, with the Digital Journal reporting that offenders could face up to a year's worth of jail time. Number 7. No public displays of sickness in Washington. According to statute RCW 70.54.050, every person who shall willfully expose himself to another, or any animal affected with any contagious or infectious disease, in any public place or thoroughfare, except upon his or its necessary removal in a manner not dangerous to the public health, and every person so affected who shall expose any other person thereto without his knowledge, shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. Laws such as this are generally upheld by court system, but the strange thing about this one in particular is that it doesn't distinguish between some crazy disease like SARS and a simple case of the sniffles. You could be found guilty of a misdemeanor for not informing your coworkers that you have been inflicted by the common cold, or even for willfully exposing yourself to a sick person. Number 6. It's illegal to wrestle bears in Alabama. According to Sports Illustrated, bear wrestling used to be quite a popular hobby in the United States, particularly in places like Alabama, where in 2006 a law was issued to prevent bear exploitation, or more specifically, to stop bear wrestling. Alabama Code Section 13A-12-5 that determines unlawful bear exploitation is when a person knowingly promotes, engages in, or is employed at a bear match, if he or she receives money for bear wrestling and if he or she sells, purchases, possesses or trains a bear for bear wrestling. Number 5. No chewing gum in Singapore. Singapore prohibited the sale of gum after authorities noticed a prolific amount of chewed gum being stuck in subway stations and on cars. As weird as it may sound, Singapore allows you to actually chew gum. Just make sure you stick it in the trash can, otherwise great fines apply. Number 4. While in Denmark, leave your lights on. Drivers in Denmark are supposed to drive vehicles with their headlights on. You'd think this law would apply to night driving, but it doesn't. It is considered essential during the day as well, or they may face a fine of up to $100. Studies have shown that this has helped a lot to avoid road accidents in Denmark. Number 3. In France it is illegal for women to wear pants. In France it is still against the law for women to wear pants. The law has allegedly been on the books since 1800. It was amended several times, once in 1892 to allow women to sport trousers while riding horses and again in 1909 to permit the ladies to wear pants while on bicycles. Number 2. In Saudi Arabia females are not allowed to drive. Saudi Arabia is the only country that bans women from driving. The prohibition forces families to hire live-in drivers, and those who cannot afford the $300 to $400 a month for a driver must rely on male relatives to drive them to work, school, shopping or the doctor. Number 1. The Chinese One-Child Act. China's one-child policy was established by Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping in 1979 to limit Communist China's population growth. 35.9% of China's population is currently subject to the one-child restriction. The government believes it has helped to alleviate social, economic and environmental problems in China.